com. And happening now, President Donald Trump is continuing to slash federal jobs as a way to make the government more efficient.
Virginia, home to nearly 150,000 federal workers, and some now without a job. That's including a now former park ranger. 8 News reporter Allison Williams has the latest.
Autumn and Delaney, good morning. Some of our viewers might recognize Avery Lentz. For Black History Month, I highlighted Lentz's work as a park ranger at the Richmond National Battlefield Park and Maggie L. Walker National Historic Site. But as of today, he's no longer a park ranger after being fired over email on February 14th. You can see in Lentz's termination letter from the U.S. Department of Interior, they say he, quote, failed to demonstrate qualifications for continued employment and that his abilities do not meet the department's current needs. But in his performance review, his scores say his performance exceeds expectations and he's, quote, fully successful. Lentz is one of 3 that were fired in his group of coworkers. All of them started their jobs in April of 2024. Since they'd been at the parks for under a year, they were in what's called a probationary position, making it easier to fire them.
It was not my performance that lost me my job. It is just powers that be and things that are out of my control, and I think that makes it even harder. It wasn't even like notice, there was no administrative leave, it was just thanks for coming, goodbye.
Now, Lentz says he's getting support from friends and family and candidly told me he has enough money to pay rent in a few days and get groceries, but things will get even tighter in just the next few weeks. Delaney?
Yeah, Allison, you've interviewed him a few times now, so where does he go from here?
Well, he's applying to jobs, but he actually texted me this morning that he and another one of the coworkers that got fired were denied unemployment. He says it's too expensive to move and understandably doesn't really want to after building a life here in Central Virginia. So he's taking this day by day. Live in the Digital Center, Allison Williams, 8 News.
Excellent reporting, Allison. Thanks for that this morning. Federal union workers say the layoffs are an intimidation tactic.
Some workers say what President Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing is unacceptable and hurting federal workers who need to provide for their families.
The fact that they're just mass firing anyone that they can get their hands on is really not serving the American people.
Don't want to just be bullied out of their jobs. They need those jobs to provide for their families.
Now, meanwhile, Musk says he only plans to fire non-essential workers or those who are not doing their job properly.
Virginia Senator Tim Kaine says the recent layoffs at the Department of Defense are concerning. So far, 5,400 employees have been let go. Kaine says, quote, I'm furious about the way this administration is treating veterans in active duty, and I'm going to be as loud about this every day until they stop what they're doing, end quote. He says the cuts are particularly punishing veterans.
On Capitol Hill now, Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says he believes DOJ's actions will backfire.
What DOJ and Donald Trump are doing is not efficiency. Instead, it's chaos. Americans did not sign up for chaos.
While Central Virginians are also chiming in on these layoffs. Constituents from the Commonwealth's 1st Congressional District gathered in Midlothian yesterday for Representative Rob Whitman's office hours. Many said they're concerned about the recent GOP budget resolution that he voted for and the firings. We spoke to one woman who was fired from the IRS last week.
The termination was not based on my performance nor conduct. My agency's leadership will attest to that.
And this morning, some D.C. businesses are offering discounts to federal workers who were laid off. One restaurant says people are being generous and buying others food and drinks. Some theaters also offering free tickets to shows for workers and their families.
Going to theater is such a nice catharsis. It's just such a great way to be, watching a story with other people, feeling the feelings that you feel and just letting your mind go to other places.
Now, some former federal workers are now working at restaurants to try and make ends meet.